We'll call the meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Bob Crecelius,
Here.
Travis Dunlap, Jim Meeks,
Here.
Timothy Meunier,
Here.
Bernie Paparad.
Here.
No, that was my fault.
Approval of the minutes for the February 27th meeting. Move that we approve them. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Travis Dunlap,
Yes.
Bob Crecelius,
Yes.
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Timothy Meunier,
Yes.
Bernie Paparad.
Yes. Communications, bills and expenditures. Nothing. Don't know. Anybody have anything? Nothing. No. Nothing. No. Nothing. All right. All report of officers, committee and staff, that's the same, another same. Nothing. Fine. Preliminary here, who's here from Shady Center? Mark Parkman. You, Great Lakes. Yes, our engineering company.
Hey. So, first one of these in quite a while, so, what we're doing is we're applying for basically two variances. One is a developmental standards variance and one is a use variance. We have attractive land, over adjacent to our existing community over here at Shady Side. And it is currently zoned residential. And so we would like to get at least a special use permit to operate it as a mobile home community with the intent long-term of getting it rezoned mobile home. So that's the use variance portion of it. The developmental standards variance portion of it is, we are asking for a variance on one side of the expansion. It's required that it be 30 feet away from the property boundary, and we are requesting a 10-foot variance where we could be 20 feet away from the property boundary. And the reason for this is, one of the biggest mobile homes they make, at least single wide, is a 16 by 76 home. These are more desirable than a 66-foot home, and they're obviously larger, and they cater more to families. So we would like to put 76-foot homes on those 7 lots. Right now, we would only be able to put 66-foot homes. And that is the variance I'm looking for on developmental standards. So I think everybody has copies of the plans that were redone. A little bit different than the ones I shared at the board meeting about a month ago. But we did have to remove one site to put in a retention pond, which our engineers at Great Lakes have done, to, obviously to keep the town's the stormwater portion of that. Hoping you've had a chance to take a look at everything we submitted as well. So, but that's what I'm here asking for tonight.
Okay. Well, we might as well jump right into it. Mr. Shem, have you looked at it yet?
Very briefly, but the main concern, I guess, that we have right now, just reading the application on the surface of it. The listing of all the variances for the development standard are not based on the R. So the R itself is the underlying zone. So everything under the R applies. And the request is actually to vary from that zone, it needs to be listed one by one. what is the variance for each one of them? If that is in fact the case. So the list of the variances right now, or at least the one variance that we see right now is the setback variance. There's other variances that will apply because it's still, it's zone R. So all the applicable zoning for R will still apply. Without going to the detail, I guess, of it, that's the only thing that I'm seeing on the application right now with the slide.
So I have a question. So if it's zoned mobile home, would it still have the same developmental standards as R? Or is it completed? Does that make sense? Because you're saying that there are certain standards that a residential neighborhood has to meet, right? So if it was zoned mobile home, are they the same standards?
If the question, if the zoning change to the special district, which is the property that is north of it, or the existing mobile home. If the zoning changed to that zoning type, no, the development standard will not apply. Unless that you're applying for the development standard from that district as well. So,
So you did all your calculations on the special use district
Yes.
and not the residential district?
Correct, because we can't build it if it's residential. So. The residential wouldn't, that's why I'm going for the. Special use permit to operate it as mobile home. Or
The intent.
whatever
is-
you want.
I hear that the intent is to rezone later.
Correct. I didn't know the zoning process is gonna take a little bit, rezoning is probably gonna take a little bit longer, that's why I was going for a special use permit first. To develop it.
I think let me explain to this board at least, what you're varying. The board actually is not to change any zone. The plan commission function is to change the zone. I think it was explained, I believe, in the plan commission that there's two options or two processes. For any subdivision that requires a variance for varying from the existing zoning. One is to change the zoning itself to meet whatever the development they are trying to accomplish. So that's one process, and that goes through the plan commission. If it's a rezoning, it's an entire rezoning, and then the rezoning, presumably that the rezoning actually exists in the zoning code, which is the special district. That special district will apply then after the approval of that zone. If there's a variance process, the variance process has to list all the variances from the district that it's actually in right now. So whether it's an R district or whether it's a downtown district, anything, whatever the existing zoning right now needs to have a development standard based on the existing zone, not based on the projected zone.
Okay. I understand, everybody pretty much on board with that.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but it seems to me we're kind of putting horse before the cart here. You have residential properties on Shady Side Road there. All of them east of the trailer park itself. You know, if we go ahead and offer a variance here, you know, these people might not be keen on that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to Shady Side expanding there, don't get me wrong, okay, but we're gonna do all this work, grant all this variance, because there's still more work to be done here. When in fact, if you want to rezone it, my opinion, you ought to just try to get a rezone first and then do this, instead of making everybody go through hoops to turn around and at the end of the day, end up doing it anyway. That's my thought on it.
If I could add something to it too, this may be something that is something or nothing, so I want to throw this out just food for thought. I'm gonna speak to your engineer if that's okay, and you did all of this work, you did reviews on this. Did you contact the DNR, the Army Corps of Engineers at all?
Nothing but the wetland stuff. We haven't flagged anything for shutting. We,
Well, the reason I'm concerned about that is that given where it's at and where the floodplain is located at, 'cause I do stream restoration, you like the prohibition. And I know that with something that's this close, and you also have tanks located basically on the wall going down, it's about 20 to 30 foot drop in there. And I think there's a buffer that's required. I don't remember what exactly it is. I didn't have the time to look all of this up. But my concern is this is a friendly comment. Please don't, I'm not trying to celebrate. I have nothing against shady side going. That's not it at all. My fear is that if you go through all this and rezone it, if DNR comes in, they're gonna be rip everything up and then actually put it back to the way it was because you're too close or restrict it, it's gonna cost you more money. So I'm saying this as a friendly gesture, just so you might want to check on it. Because this actually flows into the national parks, you're also dealing with Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, right, like with wetlands. If the buffer is that for Gang centers or would it be birds property standard?
No, this is something that DNR hasn't. I know from personal experience watching, I have one particular instance where we had Amish farmers who made changes, who got too close. They had to rip everything up, and they do stream restoration, they do bank restoration, everything all the way back in. I don't want you to have to go through that, so just check, it's a friendly suggestion.
Yeah, the one thing I'm worried about is I believe the sanitary was sent down state, this was before it's out of Oregon, so I'm not familiar with it, but sent down state for approval already. So there's some existing stuff out there already, and the septic and everything got approved, so you have to remove all of that for now, so redo that process, I believe.
Okay, I just would, driving the expertise, and again, I'm not trying to,
Well, that's a vote in
yeah.
issue on it.
I have a question about the names and addresses on the list that you notified. You got 2 United States of America, one I'm assuming is the National Lake Shore. Is that correct?
Well, we haven't notified anybody yet because we haven't done a public hearing.
Okay,
So that's just a list of people we would notify. There were 2 of them, there were separate addresses. So I wanted to make sure anybody within the area was covered. If it was the same owner, if it had a separate address, I was gonna send.
I got you. You don't have your biggest property owner to the west of you on here. Cleveland Cliffs. They own all that property to the west of you.
So that might be under Tecumseh redevelopment.
Yeah, because, yeah, I got on the website that was provided by, I think it was actually.
Okay, well, if that's who that is, that's fine, but if it's not, you might want
Yeah,
to get a
I
hold
think
of it.
that's Tecumseh because they also they own that same property where that training center is on that cool.
Right.
So I think that's all the
Okay.
same, I mean, it's all the same owners. all three
I know
cliffs
Tecumseh
right there.
redevelopment owns property along Oakley Lane, and that's technically a private road.
Right,
Now,
right.
in discussions with representatives of the mill, Cleveland Cliffs, and that's who is the deeded owner of some property back there, is Tecumseh redevelopment.
Okay. Tim, did you have a chance to look over this drainage report?
I did not.
Okay, before we do anything, I mean, I know we're all fairly intelligent here, but none of us are engineers. You're gonna have to look this over. Got a lot of data in it, and it makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't have any summary or conclusion in there, recommendations or whatever. And more importantly, and I don't know who did this report, and that's my question. Who did this report? Because I have nobody's name.
Great Lakes engineer.
Okay, who did? I need to know an engineer who did this. Great Lakes not gonna be held responsible. The engineer who did this report would be the responsible party.
Well, I'm not an engineer, but I'm in EIT, I guess, so it'd be me. Our engineer would be John Hen, the city engineer for the.
Yeah,
President, Great Lake.
Yeah, president.
yeah, that's
Okay.
engineer. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna need to have somebody's official title and name on that report, so we know who it is, okay? Just Great Lakes isn't gonna work, we need somebody's name on that.
Yeah, should be.
Also, too, I'd be curious, when you take a look at the drainage report, I did take a look at the slope and how it comes back. It is sloped, so it comes back in. I just be kind of curious to see the offsets. And also too, whether the pond would be able to handle everything. I was very curious, because again, it didn't have a conclusion. I did take a look and also too, I'm assuming it would be public or town installing the water and everything else, the piping in here, or is this gonna be something that's strictly controlled, paid for, and watched over by you?
It is paid for by us, so yes.
Who's responsible for maintaining it? Just curious.
Well, I mean, we're ultimately responsible.
Oh, I didn't know, because some of the,
Yeah, no, we own all,
subdivisions, you can't just do overlayers.
yeah, no, we always, in the existing community, we own all the underground water and sewer, so it'd be the same over there. We would own it up to your main.
I understand, I'm just trying to get a picture of what's going on. Sure.
Well, one thing, if I may. One thing I think that I wasn't quite sure about, I guess, why the report even was submitted to the board. Was it requiring a variance or requiring some sort of a variance that should have been listed probably in the development standard variance if there is a variance required for the drainage itself.
Okay.
The drainage, most of the time gets reviewed by the planning commission or the staff, and they will send it to us and send a report back that it's kind of a mostly ministerial,
Mhm.
if it's following the standards. In this case, it was submitted to the BZA for never to what.
I just considered it a path.
So I guess the main question, listing all the variances that is required under the existing zone. That is a very important element to the board, so you can understand what you're varying from the standard for. What is it that you're giving approval or denial for? So you will have an important decision. As it stands right now, the information that is provided is just a use variance. And the development standard is based on a zoning that doesn't exist.
You guys clear with what he's talking about?
Yeah, I mean, everything we actually, I mean, yes, I'm good. Yes.
Again, please understand that I don't think anybody here is against us. We're just, I think we got a long way to go before we get to where we need to be.
I agree, and, yeah, I think we need to communicate a little bit more about what you guys are looking for, because I thought I came in here fairly prepared on what I've been told before, and I obviously am not, so, I just don't want to keep coming back and say, oh, we need one more thing, because I've been given no direction by anybody with the town, I'm just kind of flying blind here, guys. So any kind of direction that you can give me would be very helpful as well.
No, absolutely, and I'll be glad to do so, but just to make sure that the information is correct. Your professional consultants need to actually follow the town code is very clear and concise. The town code is as clear as it can get about the process and how it's actually laid out. I appreciate that you're coming back, but definitely, the BZA has a very, very specific role for variances, for existing zoning. Understood.
Okay. What's your guys' deal? We're gonna try to
I said,
extend this out,
I say table, yeah.
table it and come back next month? When you guys get your stuff,
Well,
I would have to read.
I think we're gonna have to go for rezoning first before we even come back here. So I think that's gonna be our next step is just go for a full rezone.
okay, so we're just gonna leave you off here until it's all rezoned?
Well, and if it's rezoned, that would go before the planning commission, there would be no further hearings before this body.
Right,
Well, until I would still want the variance, the 10-foot variance, because
you're
that's
still gonna ask for
we're
some
still gonna be asking for that at least.
later on, because it's probably the same or less in the special use district. You'll have to check, lay them down, see how much we're different from one to the other.
So one thing to keep in mind as well, and Clay, correct me if I'm wrong, if you table the application for 3 meeting, that means that it's approved. If there's no action on it. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Clay.
I'd have to look at code, but if that's correct, then we would need to make a decision here next month or, and I know that's part of it. I think Shem's concern is the fact that this board doesn't need it. There's no
action.
Well, we can meet if we have to.
Yeah.
That's just the deal there. And you say 3 meetings that gets approved?
That it's stable, or at the time, the motion is stable. Now, the application as it stands right now, it will change for just the fact that it's gonna change from R to SD.
Mhm.
So the application will have to be amended.
But I don't know if it's technically been tabled, Jim, because there hasn't even been public notice.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
That's true. So the public hearing did not happen.
Right, we didn't table the public hearing.
Correct.
This is just the preliminary. And I said, I think,
Thank you.
I had to think through it.
I
but
think we're okay on this right now. So are you
I know what I need to do.
okay?
I got it.
Get with Jill,
I will.
get with Shem on what needs to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. will.
And I think they're already too late to come
Yeah,
before
the planning commission generally meets on the first Monday of the month. I'm not sure.
I sent everything out today because I'm going on vacation.
But what about July? Are they still meeting July first because of the
As
holiday?
far as I know, yes. It hasn't been discussed yet.
Okay,
I don't have everything turned in.
Well, no, Monday, what day we're gonna do?
well, that's what we just talked about. It. The first Monday of June is June 3rd, and I know she sent all of and it's too late to get on that agenda because that's, you know, in 6 days, but
Right.
July 1st is a Monday.
I would think we would meet. Maybe.
Okay. And we'll figure out, get with
I
Jill
will.
and we'll see about getting her in on the plan commission and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
I've been on.
Thanks for your help, Jen. All right, let's go on. No old business, no new business, for the order. No announcements
Mm-mm.
and. Let me hear one.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
I have a motion, second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Travis Dunlap,
Yes.
Bob Crecilius,
Yes.
Jim Meeks,
Yes.
Timothy Menyem,
Yes.
Bernie Paparad.
Yes. All right, thank you guys for coming in.